Hello and welcome back to the Adventures in Marketing podcast. I am your host, Gwen Montoya. I am a marketing strategist and my work focuses on helping you understand marketing better. But today I'm actually not going to talk about necessarily a marketing topic. I want to talk more about a how we work topic. I want to talk about what happens when we lose our groove and how we get it back. Because I think if we're being honest, we have all had low sales, miscommunications, straight up bad experiences that we have to come back from. And as small business owners, we can't necessarily take a month off to get our head straight. We have to keep going, even though maybe our groove is a little bit wonky or it's gone altogether. So I want to talk about how we get our groove back after a challenge. Because I know that I have personally had experiences where I looked at what I was doing, I looked at how bad my groove was gone and thought maybe this is when I become a Starbucks barista, right? Like maybe this is the moment where I stop doing this thing that I've been doing for 20 years and I love, because clearly there's something wrong. And then, I take some time and I realize that that is not the answer. That is not my path. And then I get it back. But I think we don't talk about it as business owners. And I think as business owners, a lot of us don't have that community to talk to and realize that everybody is feeling this way, especially when it comes, you're looking on social media and everything is so polished and so pretty, and we don't talk about the bad stuff. We don't talk about the challenges, because there is a very real and very valid concern that if we talk about the challenges that we're having in our business, where people who might buy from us could see it, maybe they won't want to buy from us, right? Maybe they will think, oh, that person doesn't really have it together, or wow, they say they do this thing, but they're not having sales. What's wrong with them? That's a big, scary place to be, and we don't have a space to talk about it. So let's use this time to kind of talk about it and hash it out, and maybe you get some ideas from this that will help you get your groove back if you're feeling a little grooveless. So the first thing I suggest that I always recommend is to pause and regroup. For most of us, we don't have to make split-second decisions. It is okay to take a week or to take 2 weeks to keep working on our business, but also take time to regroup and maybe, lessen the stress where we can. Not that we shut down, because most of us can't do that, but we step back on as much as we can to give ourselves time to pause, time to regroup, time to really think about it, especially if our groove is thrown off by somebody saying something. Like a bad review is a really good example. You get a bad review and it cuts straight to your soul because you put so much work into it, and then you have this bad review that's just floating out there. And in those instances, for the most part, we don't have to make a split-second decision. We don't have to make a split-second decision to respond. We don't have to make a quick decision on anything that we're going to do to change our business. I mean, if there's something really egregious, then definitely do that. But for the most part, I think we have time to sort of sit with it and think about it. And was the thing that was said true? Was there something else that you could have done? How can you make those improvements? But going into heavy reaction mode is probably not the best way to do it. And in fact, it could throw your groove off even more. The next thing is to be aware of the negative loops or replaying what happened over and over and over again. The thing that you are dealing with is in the past. You actually can't fix it for the most part. So instead of being stuck in that, I made a mistake, this is terrible, this is something that happened and I'm really unhappy with it, instead of getting stuck in that loop, let yourself feel it and then kind of try to let it go. Because if you're constantly caught in that loop, you can't move forward. So pausing, making sure that you're not stuck in like a negative, panicky loop can be really helpful for getting your groove back over time. I also think it's really important, especially in the case of a bad review or low sales or feeling like, what am I even doing with my business and my life? I don't know. I'm stuck. I'm lost. I think it's helpful to go back and look at what I like to call your highlight reel, right? Your reviews, your testimonials, the incredibly lovely things that people have said about what you sell or how you've impacted them. Because that can help us remember that, yes, this is what we're supposed to be doing. This is something that we are happy doing. We have had success, because when your groove is off, it feels like maybe you're never going to have success again, and this is just your life, and it sucks. But if you can look at your testimonials and you can stop yourself from replaying the negative thing over and over again, you can see, okay, wait, this was good. I did do good things. I can see that I have done good things and I can do them again in the future. So those highlight reels, those testimonials are so important. And if you're not already, by the way, collecting all of your testimonials and putting them into a Google Doc somewhere, or any kind, however you hold your information, definitely do that, because you have them and you can use them in all sorts of different marketing ways. But it's also just really nice to go and look at your own testimonials and just see a wall of lovely things and helpful things and kind things and supportive things that people have said. And if you don't collect them, nobody else will. So do that. It's also important to remember that this kind of thing passes and you will have perspective over time. So if you're feeling lost in the middle of it, know that you're not the only business owner who feels this way. Like I was saying at the beginning, we just don't talk about it. We all just keep moving forward and keep smiling and keep promoting and keep selling, but we don't have time to take it in, to have perspective, to remember that other people feel this way too. That as business owners who are not closing, who are not giving up, and who are not getting jobs at Starbucks, that we have to try again. We have to prepare to try again, because you probably don't want to close up shop. Even if your groove is off, even if sales are flat, even if things are frustrating, you probably don't want to quit. You're doing this because you love it, because you feel like there is a need for you to be doing this thing that you are doing, whether that is because you are serving a purpose or this is the thing that you love to do more than anything. And even if your groove is off, even if your groove is a little wobbly, you have to put yourself out there and try it again. Stop those negative loops where you feel like you're just laying in bed replaying the same thing over and over again. You get your heart broken and you have to put yourself out there and you have to try again. Sometimes in our business, when we lose our groove or we have bad experiences, it is the same thing. It can be really scary to put yourself out there again after a bad experience. You can be a little shy, a little wary, but I think putting yourself out there is probably, in my experience at least, one of the best ways to get over something that didn't work well, is to just try it again, take the lessons that we've learned, and move forward. I will also say I am a really big fan of people going to therapy, of people having therapists. I think therapists do amazing work in the world. So if all of this sounds great, but you're still grooveless or you are still in a funk, maybe it's time to get some therapy. Maybe it's time to find a therapist and talk to somebody who has more perspective than you can get from just listening to a 10-minute podcast. So I hope that this was helpful. If you have any questions or you've done something that really helps you get back into your groove that I didn't include, I would love to hear about it. You can reach me at Gwen at gwenmontoya.com. Until then, I will see you next time.